If there's only one video you watch today, make sure it's this, because it's very important. There's been a ruling in a court of law, and it is paramount to our freedom. It reflects on the appalling videos we have seen over the last few months of police officers demanding the general public give their name and address, and when they don't, they're shoved in the back of meat vans and taken to the police station. Well, this is unlawful, says a court of law. How do much? It's a Wednesday live across the world, and a breaking story today that is massive. You do not have to give your name and address when you've done nothing wrong, according to a court of law. Judges have ruled that the enforcement of arrest on the back of you not giving your details for not doing anything is unlawful. A man has taken it to court and he's won. But now this leaves the whole police across the UK scratching their heads wondering how they're going to get out of the 1,200 arrests and crimes that they've brought against people that were therefore unlawful. We know that all of the cases that have gone to the CPS have been dropped, and over 2/3 have been dropped of the entire Kung Flu arrests and fines. We know that this has been a disaster for the police, getting involved in things that they knew little or nothing about, enforcing laws that are now deemed to be unlawful. This case is paramount to our freedoms, our civil rights and human rights. This is part of our ability not to be harassed and stalked by police officers who want to insist on knowing where you're going, what you're doing, and what your name and address is. They have no right to know that unless you've committed a crime, or they have belief that you've committed a crime. Believing that you're believing in a law that doesn't exist based on a law that was whipped through the House of Commons, that was not discussed, debated, or indeed passed through a court as being lawful, will not be a defence for the police when it comes to you suing them for being arrested, shoved in a van and shoved in a cell for not giving your name and address. This precedent is huge and will speak volumes to those who have been begging and pleading on social media for justice after their loved ones or themselves have been harassed by the police, as we know now, according to a judge, wrongly. The takeaway from this is you do not have to give your name and address, and it's been ruled in a court of law. Once precedent is set, that's it. That is case law. The police now are in an untenable position. They've been asked by this government to bring in laws and enforce laws that are not lawful. And I believe I did say this a few months ago. I kept repeating, I want to see the judge that is going to stand up in a court of law and have their name written down that removes your human right to walk the street, to breathe, to exercise, and to mind your own business. And that's what these laws infringed. Your human right to do what you wanted to do within the law. In other words, you weren't going out committing a crime. You weren't speeding down the motorway. You weren't haranguing little old ladies. You weren't with drugs on your person. You weren't up to kiddie fiddling. There was nothing going on other than standing in the street, as we've seen with so many of these arrests that have got online. Well, now the chickens are coming home to roost, and all of these people, there's 1,300 of them nearly, I suggest you speak to a lawyer immediately and take legal action and put a complaint in. You have to stand up for your human rights, because if they're taken away by a police force that do not understand the rules, you are in a very, very weak position as a citizen of this country. If we allow the police to misrepresent the law, this will be the beginning of the end. We have to stand up for our rights. If we break the law, we deserve to be arrested. We deserve to be taken to a court via the CPS's approval. And we obviously deserve to go to prison if a judge rules us guilty. However, if you make up a law, if you make up an accusation, if you want to lie to the police, if you want to come up with a cockamamie scheme to get somebody in the police van, if you want to then take them to a police station and strip search them, you want to harangue two beauties in a Derby Park, or you want to stop an old lady going to see her 99-year-old mother in an Alzheimer's care home, I think it's time that we brought these people in front of a judge and said, how do you feel, Your Honour, about my human rights being taken away by this officer that didn't understand his own law, didn't understand the rules? This is massive, and we must share this video. They do not have the right to demand your name and address according to a judge under any circumstances. under COVID laws or anything else unless you've committed a crime or the officer believes you have. Standing in a street and walking is not committing a crime. This is amazing.